Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. We are outside today. It's a beautiful day, man. You know, we are very excited. It's the first Saturday of football season, and our Vols went out and took care of business. So please forgive us if you hear a little bit of background noise, but we figured this would be kind of fitting. It's actually a really nice day. I mean, here in Georgia, you know, it's usually really hot, really humid. At least it has been for like the past probably like a month.
A long summer.
Brutal. Yeah, it's been a brutal summer. So anyway, so we figured today's nice, so we're just going to do this outside today. But, you know, obviously today our Vols took care of business in a very, very major way. 49-13. You know, I thought that we probably would have put up 60. Would have liked to have seen us, you know, past that 50-point mark. Covered the spread. And, you know, for both teams, we were able to cover the, you know, overall point spread, which was, 57.5, I think, points, something like that. So, you know, I think that we looked good. I mean, what are your first thoughts? Not looking at any film, what are your first thoughts?
You know, first thoughts, man, felt good about overall. Like you said, you know, felt dominant, even though the score is dominant, but, you know, we want to see 6 points, but we felt dominant overall, man. Love that defense, man, especially that first half, flying around. I mean, getting halves of the ball. Looked like Virginia couldn't get a playoff almost. I mean, we're living in their backfield all day long. I think they had negative rush yards in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, just beautiful, man. I love everything I saw. Pretty much everything we anticipated coming into it from that defense. I mean, you know, I think the sky's the limit for this team. I think we look like a big time contender week one.
Absolutely. So, you know, some of our questions was, you know, how do we look on defense? Defense looks great. I think that starting with that front four, we were able to get pressure. We only got 4 sacks, but we had a lot more pressure. James Pierce had 2 sacks. Tyler Barron had 2 sacks also. But, you know, it was a constant effort to be on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage all day long.
Yeah.
Linebackers look great. I mean, Keenan Pili looks like he's a freaking All-American first-round draft pick. He looks really, really good. You know, obviously Aaron Beasley looks good. Arion Carter, you know, we got to see him in some spurts. He played more than Jeremiah. You know, but I mean, who else?
Omar Norman Lott. He showed up a lot. You saw him show up a lot. He's a guy we talked about early on too. I mean, he's a guy this is quick twitch, man. I think it's gonna be a problem for those interior guys. I think they're bigger, slower guys. He looked good. I mean, defense overall, man. I was super impressed. Like you said, Peely. I think he's going to be probably our leading tackler this season. I mean, he looks the real deal, as advertised.
Everything.
James Pierce, good to see him get 2 sacks.
You
heard Brent Hubbs, his bunch talking about him. You know, let's see him get some sacks in meaningful minutes. Comes out, gets our first 2 sacks of the season. I mean, we look phenomenal in my opinion on the defensive side of the ball.
We look really good, but also, you know, we do have to kind of, you know, pump the brakes just a taste because the team that we're playing against, they weren't great. But this is what we expected. We said, okay, if we are who we think we are, we should dominate in this sort of a fashion, which is pretty much what we did. A couple of miscues in that first half. Obviously, you know, with the fumble from D. Williams. You know, just a couple of little minor things that we have to get cleaned up. Joe was really sharp. Okay. He was really, really sharp. He, you know, he overthrew and underthrew a couple of passes, but I mean, look, he's 21 for 30 for 70%. You know, I think 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. I mean, that's what your expectations are for a quarterback in a game like this. Also, you know.
Definitely look good on offense, man. Obviously didn't show anything. I mean, you know, like we talked about earlier, you know, we didn't push the gas pedal all the way down.
Really basic.
Yeah, you saw a lot of, you know, quick throws out to the flats, things like that. Didn't really stretch the field a ton. But Joe looking in command, in control, seemed confident and poised out there. Love the run game, man. Run game as advertised. Heck, Dylan Sampson, what do you have? 4 T's today. I mean,
he had 4 touchdowns. I think he averaged 4 yards a carry. I want to say 13 carries for 67 yards. Jalen Wright, who we already knew was going to come out and, you know, ball out. I think he had 12 carries for like 115, 9.6 average, no touchdowns. Small, he had 13 carries for. Let me take a look at my notes here real quick. 13 carries for 67 yards, 5.2 average, and Dylan Sampson was 13 for 52 yards with a 4-yard average and 4 touchdowns.
Nice.
I would have loved to have been able to see, you know, Wright or Small get some touchdowns today. But, you know, obviously it's a really, really long season. But, I mean, obviously we've got 3 really good guys. We got to see Cam Selden, got to see Keith Also, they both look really good.
Yeah, they look
in
good.
in the minimal amount of time we got to see them play.
Didn't see much of him. Would love to see more of Selden. We'd love to see more of him. But I mean, I think his time will come. But the O-line looked good, man. Moving bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody looked good. Eiling looked solid in there at center. Keurig. I mean, everybody looked good up front.
Yeah.
Really no complaints with the O-line. I think we're, as advertised, man. I mean, this O-line's going to be solid. They're going to be a unit who can run behind. Joe had all day to throw, it seemed like, from the door of the night.
Man,
I mean, I just felt great about everything I saw.
Yeah, it was similar to that Patriots season with Tom Brady. Whenever they went like 18-1, or you know what I'm saying, where Brady was standing back there like a statue.
Yeah.
But again, you have to keep in mind who we're playing against. We knew that we should dominate, but the fact that we did dominate and we took care of business is a really, really, really good sign for Tennessee moving forward. We talked a lot about this team being more run heavy. So today, we had 50-something runs to like 30-something passes. I think it was 33 passes to maybe like 52 runs. And, back to your point, obviously we're being very basic. We don't want to show too much. We knew that we're better than this team.
Yeah.
But for us to be as dominant as we were in the run game, in the trenches on both sides of the football.
Yeah, both sides.
Very encouraging.
And let's not forget, Virginia, that's a pretty solid defense we went against. I mean, I think they were top 30 last season, so it's not like they're a cupcake, defense.
Right.
So it was a good test for our offense. For us to go out there and dominate the way we did, man, I felt great about it. And like you said, very basic. Could have opened it up, could have scored more.
Yeah.
Overall, solid performance.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty much exactly what we expected it to be. So I'm so proud of these Volunteers. I'm so proud of our fan base. I mean, obviously you see Nissan Stadium is packed.
Yeah, all
with
orange.
Which of course is something else. We expected that, right? Like we figured that's how it would be, and as always, our fans do not disappoint. Show up and show out. Couple other things just to kind of like move forward. Like we touched on earlier. I think that our secondary looked a lot better than what we had initially thought. Tank played pretty good.
Yeah. So who are the starting corners?
So I want to say that it was Slaughter and Haddon.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from Slaughter, but I think maybe they stayed away from his side. We saw Haddon a ton, but he looked good.
Yeah, good
Turnage also looked good, getting off blocks, coming and being physical.
So that's something too. I saw McDonald came out. Looks like they came out like around the second quarter. Didn't really see him again. I don't know if he had an injury or something.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
We saw a lot of turns though, so that's something to keep an eye on. We got to watch the post game presser and see about him, but missed him. But saw Tank, saw Wesley Walker show up, make some plays. Tank looks like guy that just a little bit of a liability out there. But he showed up, made some tackles. Didn't see too much of the young guys. Didn't see any of the freshmen in the corners really at all.
I don't remember seeing any of them. And again, this is fresh after the game, so we still have to go back, look at the film. We'll probably have another video kind of breaking down the film after we look at it more in depth. But I mean, I don't remember seeing any of the freshmen out there. Christian Harrison is a guy who looked good playing corner in coverage, staying on top of routes. So, we've got a lot of versatility, and I think that we're going to be just fine moving forward.
Yeah, I feel great about it, man. Love our soft on the D-line overall, man. Like I said, James Pierce was interesting. That's something we talked about too, seeing, who's going to be that kind of that next guy off the bench. Was it James Pierce, Joshua Josephs?
Yeah.
Looked like Pierce was mainly the guy. Didn't see Josephs till a little bit later in the game.
Yeah.
But Pierce, man, he's taking that step. So I think he's going to be an elite guy for us.
Man, he looked phenomenal, and I mean, he literally was beating the offensive line off of the snap.
Yeah.
He was doing that, and really most of our guys was doing the exact same thing. Simmons is another guy, who looked really, really good. We saw a little bit of what's the freshman Hobbs? Saw him a little bit late. Hobbs, yep.
They made tackle in the backfield. Overall, these guys look good, man. Didn't see Jalen Smith at backer. But we did see T. Lander out there. He looks solid. Like he's, just as advertised, a guy that runs around looking for the ball. Didn't really see, like I said, any really the freshman DBs. Didn't see Slaughter. Wanted to see him at safety, John Slaughter.
Yeah, we'll like to see that.
Maybe Jack Luttrell a little bit. But, the guys we saw, look good, look solid. And we'll see as the season gets going if we kind of rotate those freshmen in a little bit more. And maybe next week, Austin Peay.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. So I think that next week we'll probably see a lot more of those freshmen, give them some more burn. It just looked like to me this week, the coaches came in with a plan. They knew that we were a lot better than the team that we're playing against today. And they wanted to get some of these upperclassmen, a chance to showcase their skills for all the hard work that they put in. And I'm all for that. Next week, I think that we'll be able to see pretty much everybody and get them some, live game reps and get them ready for Florida. Speaking of Florida, I want to touch on them a taste. We got to see them against Utah. And, you know, we watched some of their spring practices, some of their fall practices, and we were saying all along that they just don't look the part. They just don't look well-trained, well-coached. Yeah. You know, they don't have that burst, they don't have that pop.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. The coaching. I think, obviously, the talent's there. University of Florida's always going to have talent, but we were talking about earlier, it reminds us a little bit of kind of us when we had Jeremy Pruitt. Just like, I don't know, the coaching's not there, man. Whenever you have, you know, the pre-snap penalties, the you know, having two guys on the field at the same time with the same jersey number, like, you know, that's coaching, man. Like, DBs, just their technique. I mean, that's a game. If they continue on that same trajectory, you know, we should beat those guys, in my opinion, with a similar score as we saw against Virginia.
I mean, just going off of week one, and, you know, again, this is just week one, so obviously a lot of things can change. Teams really tend to get better more so from week one to week two than at any other point in the entire season. So, you know, we'll see what Florida looks like next week. But if we were just to go off of this week, I mean, I would say that we are, you know, at least 4 touchdowns better than Florida at this point. You know, and that's even with the way that we played today. I think we could go out and play how we played today, which wasn't perfect. And I think that we can still beat Florida by 4 touchdowns in the swamp.
I think so.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's going to be, I think, a big boost for this team just to get us going. Obviously, you know, we've got that really big stretch starting with South Carolina. Then we've got a bye week going to, or Texas A&M is coming to us. And, you know, I mean,
that gauntlet.
That's going to be a gauntlet. So if we can survive, that's when we start to take it game by game. We're not looking past anybody. Game by game, we've got to win each one. But I feel really good.
I feel good, man. You know, we didn't see everybody yet, obviously, you know, with the first game of the day pretty much. But just out of the teams I've seen, the SEC, you know, Missouri, Florida, saw a little bit of Kentucky. I mean, we look like an elite team.
Yes.
Despite who we played against, we look elite. So, you know, again, you know, we didn't open it up at all. Very basic, very vanilla. So, I mean, I think this season's going as expected so far.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, we'll kind of take week by week and see how the rest of the season goes.
For sure. And something else that I did also want to touch on, we talked about this in our last podcast with Joe Milton, showing us that he's going to make plays. He rushed today 9 times. I don't know exactly how many yards he had, but just the simple fact that we talked about it, that he shows other teams that, hey, I will run the ball. That's really, really big to put on film in week one, moving forward against a lot of these teams, because now they have to game plan for that. So it opens up things even more, and I think that we will be able to open up our offense a lot more just based off of that. And also something else, too, there was a couple of passes that he had that was in really tight coverage, but I'm glad to see that too. I'm okay, just me personally. I'm okay with the quarterback throwing some picks. I want for the other team to know, hey, he's not afraid to throw these balls. Don't think that you can be relatively close and he's just going to shy away. This guy's a daggum gunslinger. He will extend plays and he will also make plays with his feet, and he's got a cannon.
Hey, and kind of go off that, how'd you feel about Nico? Nico got in there. I saw a few snaps of him, but man, I was impressed with what I saw.
Oh my goodness, so Nico, he was 2 for 3, which is about 66%. You know, didn't throw for very many yards, but seeing his pocket presence is unfreaking real. He is the truth.
He's a guy.
He's the truth. He is a for sure Heisman Trophy winner. No doubt about it. I'm really looking forward to him.
He looks good. I think next year the sky is even higher for us, man. I feel awesome about the future.
And you know, we was kind of talking about this too. We said, hey, well, you know, we might take a step back next year with the offensive line pieces that we're getting in, with the way that this defense is looking, especially some of these younger guys. We may not take a step back next year. I mean, we might pick it up where we leave off this season, and we are expecting a national championship for this team. I think that just based off what we saw today, I mean, Vol fans, it's not out of the question to expect right now a national championship. So we got to stay fired up. We got to stay dialed in. We got to do everything that we can for this team. And I already know that y'all will, because we do. And that's what Tennessee fans do, man.
We do, man.
This is the best fan base on the face of the planet. We all know this.
Yes, sir.
For sure. So that's gonna wrap it up for this podcast. But we will, like we said, we will have more after we break down game film of this week. And, you know, we might have a couple of other things, you know, a couple of tidbits here and there. At some point during the week, just like an overall, maybe after tomorrow, after we see LSU versus Florida State, which pisses me off that LSU is ranked higher than us after we killed them last year. For absolutely no reason. I hope the Florida State goes out there and manhandles them.
I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
But so we will have more updates to come this week. Stay tuned. And also, if you missed our first episode of Gloryland, please check that out. That is up. It is called Friday Night Fights. And there are a lot of guys that are offered by Tennessee on that roster, and they are really good players. And we are doing our best to make sure that we can hone in and, bring some of these guys up to Knoxville. A few of those guys are already eyeing us pretty heavily. So if you want to see those guys before they make their college choice, you can check them out right there on Gloryland on this channel. Thank y'all as always for tuning into this channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see y'all in a few days. Thanks. Peace.